What's up, everybody? This is Umberto. Some people call me Billi, and this is Roy Thought, where I give out words of inspiration, encouragement, ways to get you on track. I normally do them on my Instagram stories, but I wanted to change it up a little bit. Maybe you can refer back to this. Maybe this will be on YouTube, might end up on a podcast. I'm open to any ideas. Today's Roy Thought is be the CEO of your life. When you think of a CEO, you think of somebody who obviously has their own job to do, but most importantly, they have systems in place. They have a process. They don't have to do every single thing, but they need to be held accountable for what happens. When something doesn't take place in a company, the CEO is who's to blame for it all. The CEO doesn't have to do it all, but the CEO has to know what's going on in the workplace. They have to know what's going on with their company. They have to know what's happening so that way they can make decisions to best change. People are relying on you. Other positions need to happen. And for those people to do their job, other people need to do their jobs. Other things need to happen. So as a CEO, you always have to be overseeing it all. You don't have to do every single thing, but you have to know what's taking place, because ultimately you're always to blame. And when you can think like that, you can be successful. When you don't take ownership over your life, when you don't take ownership over what's happening, even when it takes someone else's part for the thing to happen, it's still your fault. Waiting for someone else to do their part, waiting for your partner, your friends, your family members, your co-workers to do their part, and deciding, oh, I can't do anything until this person does what they said they're going to do, right? That was the agreement. When you do that, you're setting yourself up to fail. You don't have to do everything in your life, but you do have to take the decision into your own hands. You have to decide, if this person doesn't do their part, if my coworker doesn't help me with this, if my co-founder of my company doesn't do what they said they're supposed to do, what am I going to do about it? What's the plan of action? If you have a company and somebody isn't doing their part, can you buy the whole company out from them? If you have a co-worker and they're not doing their part, can you ask to take on the responsibility of the project on your own? Can you do your job to the best of your abilities either way? You don't have to do all the work, but you have to make the decisions. What am I going to do if somebody doesn't meet me halfway? You may have made an agreement with somebody. They may be your spouse. They may be your best friend. They may be your boss. If that person doesn't do their job, it's still up to you to make the decision ultimately of how this is going to go. If you hate your job that much, it's still up to you. You can quit that job. It may be very hard, but you can go on interviews. You can apply to 1,000 jobs until you get something. If you're relentless about it, you can make the decision to move forward. It doesn't always have to be in someone else's hands, like, oh, I hate my boss. Oh, my boyfriend, my girlfriend isn't doing what they said they were going to do. The person who owns this company with me isn't doing their side of it. You can make a decision. Plenty of companies, the bosses have disputes, and one boss buys the company from the other boss. That's not an easy plan, but the point is it can happen. You have to think like the coach. The coach of a basketball team, the coach of any team, they have multiple players. They set plays, they put them in the game. They basically ultimately are doing their will. The coach is making sure the coach's plan is getting played out by these players. That's why when a game is lost, when a season is lost, a team is performing horribly, who gets fired? The coach. Because ultimately, them people have to do their parts, but you're overseeing it all. Just like the CEO, it's on you. You're the CEO of your life. Doesn't matter who's supposed to do their part. It's always on you. And when you have that mentality, you can then eliminate some of the worry by knowing I'm in control. I'm the one who's ultimately going to make the final decision. I get to decide how this is going to end. This is how this is going to go. When you think like that, it's easier to be happy because you know it's on me. It doesn't matter what somebody else does or doesn't do. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to make it happen. When you can do that, when you can think like that, you gain control, you'll accomplish more in life and you'll move on faster. We let people stall our plans. We let people get in our way and be the obstacles in our life when they're supposed to be there to help us. You have to always think, what can I do for that person? What can they do for me? As a coach, you set a play. That player is here for a reason. That player is here because you're supposed to help them grow, but at the same time, they have to hit that shot. They have to pass that ball. They have to dribble the ball up the court. They have to play that defense. And when you can think like that, I can help this person be better, but they also have to do what the agreement is. That's why coaches get fired when you lose and players get traded all the time, because everybody has to do their part. At Ford, Henry Ford wasn't putting the cars together. He may have started out like that, putting that car together, showing how that car works, but after a while, as a CEO, you have to decide, I'm not doing this anymore, I'm not doing that anymore, because I'm gonna do this job and I'm gonna oversee it all. Because when it all falls apart, it's still on you. If you think of your life like a company, you can accomplish more, because you realize someone else being a part of your life is a great thing. It helps you get further in the world. Someone giving you ideas, someone giving you support is a great thing. But ultimately, when these people fall short or these things don't get accomplished, it's still your fault, even when somebody else doesn't do their part. Imagine a CEO saying, well, you know, I don't know what happened. I had a plan and this and that. People will be highly upset at that CEO, because it is your job to see the issue before it happens. It is your job to prevent not having a plan B, C, D, E. Let's take ownership of our lives. Let's take ownership of the relationships we're in. Let's take ownership of our part, and know, even when somebody else isn't doing their part, even when this thing doesn't work out the way it needs to work out or the way I thought it would, this is what I'm going to do about it. When you can think like that, you can take ownership of your life. You can be more successful. You can be happy. You can eliminate some of that worry, because you have plans in place and you know it's always on you. It's always your responsibility. Let me know if this helps. The best way to hold yourself accountable is write it down and make it public. That way you have to stick to what you said. That way it makes it harder to break that contract with yourself. Below in the comments, write down how you're gonna use this, what part of this affected you, maybe a line that you love the most that you're gonna stick with. Write it down, use it, let me know if this helps. Let's make this a positive environment, so that way we can all grow. That way we can just be encouraged. You may know some of this stuff, you may know all of it. Sometimes you just need a reminder. It's always good to revisit. This is Billi. This is What He Thought.